Hi, Allison. This is Michelle, your CDA instructor, and I'm looking over your work on Module 3, the module on guiding children. And so I'm just going to go through the items that you submitted and give you some feedback and some suggestions for this. And there's a couple of places in the modules that maybe you might want to go back to look at again, just to be sure that we're doing right by you and getting you the instruction that you need in the classroom. So first of all, I want to say, before I give you feedback, that my understanding from your third submission about the greetings chart is that you are in a classroom with babies who are anywhere from, I think it said 6 months, to toddlers, like 18 months. I'm not exactly sure if they're all in the same room or you go from room to room. I don't know if it's typical for children who are 6 months and not mobile yet, or just getting to crawling, to be in a room with toddlers who are around 18 months who are moving around quite a bit. I'm just a little bit confused about that, but I sent you an email to ask about it, because that could mean something different for your answers. So I want to just say that I'm going to try to talk about babies in relationship to what you've said here, and then also toddlers who are older. So I hope that's going to be helpful for you. If you're doing an infant toddler CDA, you would be incorporating both of those into your answers. So that would be appropriate. I just want to make sure I understand what type of environment you're in order to be as helpful as I can. So in this particular assignment where I'm going to go back all the way down here to the scenarios assignment, because that comes from the first thing you sent in. And so I have copied here the directions from the assignment, and it has some guidance here about the type of the way that you would say how you're feeling about what's happening. You're observing students, write down 10 scenarios, which you did. That was great. And it said to use the language you used. And then it says here, we always start with the child's name. If the school is not in session, write down hypothetical scenarios and the exact language you would use to help the child. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear with you about other ways that we can say things based on what's in the module. So what I've copied is that you should be looking at a certain piece in the module. So I'm going to send you that by an email when I send you this recording, so that I want you to go back to the section on establishing effective rules, and I think it might help you a little bit to go over that again. So your scenario here is that a child, looks like the first one was a child didn't want to listen and was eating crayons. So a child didn't want to listen is why I want you to go back into the module and look at all that again, because it does go into what very, very young children are able to do and not do as far as, quote, listening. A lot of times when we say they don't want to listen, what we mean is they're not doing what we ask them to do, or stopping doing something we ask them to stop doing. So I just want to make sure you go back in and look at that again. It says here they were eating crayons. So I just want to say that for young children that you're dealing with, infants and toddlers, they put things in their mouths because that's part of what they do developmentally. They're not doing anything wrong. And we should not have things in the room that they cannot put in their mouths because we know that's what they do. So I guess I'm just a little confused about who's got. This is why I wanted to know, are you talking about the babies? Are you talking about the toddlers? I'm not sure exactly here. And so this response, let's not eat the crayons they're meant to draw with, eating crayons will make us sick, is not something we would say to a toddler, because they really wouldn't understand that. And so I want to just go back and have you look at some of these things. If a child is putting crayons in their mouth, really it's our job to say, should these things be in the room? And if we're going to have them in the room, how are we going to monitor them without causing the child to feel they've done something wrong? So that's something I wanted to just have you think about. And again, you have another example here. A child hit a teacher. We don't hit people. That makes them sad. I guess with, I don't know. Again, I don't know if the babies, I don't imagine babies are hitting anyone. You may be referencing the toddlers there, and toddlers do often do things like that. It's sort of normal for them. And there are ways to redirect them. So I would like you to look at that module again and think about that a little bit. Throwing a sippy cup is, again, throwing things is very normal for young children. I think if they throw things, we just pick them up and clean them off and give them back to them, or give them something they can throw instead of the sippy cup. Anyway, I just want to make sure that we're understanding that these children are not really doing anything, quote, wrong. We just have to recognize that young children do these things. Refusing to lay down for nap is another thing that young children have a really hard time doing. So yes, you could say we need to lie down at rest time and all that, but I would like to know more about what's being done to help that child with nap time. A child biting, we don't bite. It's not nice and hurts our friends. So this is not the kind of language that's in the positive discipline, the rules and guidance thing that in the module. So I would like for you to look at that again and look at biting is also part of early childhood. So I'd like you to look at that again. And if you want some information on biting, I have plenty I could send you. So, but telling the child it's not nice and that it hurts. I mean, yes, it hurts, and no, it's not nice. It's not pleasant, but it's not really helpful for them to have us say that. So we need to look at other responses we can have. And again, I would have you go back into that module and look at that. This one here where you're saying you seem sad, but mommy and daddy will be here to pick you up. Yeah, that's really great. I would say that was a really appropriate response. So that's great. Yeah, and this is also great. It seems sad, you don't want to go. And you're acknowledging how they feel. And what you've written here is really good. So it's great to have pictures and all of that and talk about feelings, but I'm just wondering how old these children are. Because if they're toddlers, talking with them about feelings is not as helpful as some of these other ideas where you have the feeling dolls and that kind of thing. The consequences of their actions, all of that, this is not really appropriate for infants and toddlers. They're too young for that. So you may have gotten that idea from one of the modules, I'm not sure, but that's really more appropriate for older children. So I want you to look at that a little bit. Then I want to go on to your next one, which is noticing. The assignment asks you to notice things, and so I think what I'm going to do is leave that one and let you work on the first one, and then I'll come back to it. So again, you have some of these scenarios here. This one about not hitting our friends, and that's not nice. Those are not things that are helpful to say to young children. You've got that here twice. That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice. I would like you to look at that module again and think about other ways to express and help children when they do these kinds of things. Again, though, my big question is, how old are these kids? So if you can let me know, that would be really helpful. I'm going to leave the second submission about noticing and responding till we get this one figured out. So we'll just do one of them at a time. Okay, let me know if you have questions or anything at all, and I will send you an email with the place in the module I want you to look at again and a copy of the link to this video.